indicator, 93 are related to the environment. This shows how environmental protections are becoming the top priority for governments from all parts of the world, including Brunei. Most importantly, the responsibility of protecting the environment has been squarely situated on today's youth, as they have to live with the negative impacts of today's world environmental problems. Without any exceptions, youth in Brunei has to be proactive in preserving and protecting the environment by taking part in the nation's effort of building a sustainable environment in Brunei. Now, this leads to the purpose of our research paper, where we would like to dive deeper into the youth opinion and perspective on how they can contribute in building a sustainable environment in Brunei. For this research, we found two studies that reflected on Bruneians' youth attitude and approach towards the environment. For instance, in 2002, a study was conducted by Flynn et al., who suggested there was an inadequate level of public environmental participation among Bruneians' youth, regardless of having a high level of environmental consent. And another study was conducted in 2010 by Ten et al., who similarly suggests that there was a lack of exposure on pro-environmental behaviors among Bruneian students, regardless of having a general awareness on the world's environmental problems. Now, while this literature provided an important insight on the Bruneians' youth approach towards the environment then, it is important to note that the data collected by these studies date back in 2002 and 2010. Therefore, these old data might not reflect today's youth positions on the environment. And with that, we hope our research paper will be able to provide a new insight and new perspective on how youth in Brunei today can contribute in building a sustainable environment in Brunei. Thank you. That is all from me. The next point will be presented by Nur Amiza.
Thank you, Zulaika. Now, I will talk about the method used in our research. Our research focuses on finding ways on how Bruneian youth can contribute to helping Brunei achieve environmental sustainability. Online questionnaire was used to accumulate data for this study with the undergraduate students of UBD as our target audience. Data extracted from the survey was based on both quantitative and qualitative methods, which comprised of 15 questions, one of which was an open-ended questions where the respondent could write their own answers, while the rest were closed-ended questions in the form of Likert scales and yes or no options. The online survey was distributed through WhatsApp, primarily through group chats from 1st March 2022 until 14th March 2022 in the form of Google Doc. The online survey facilitates more involvement of our target audiences in the shortest time period, as the time required to answer was only around 5 minutes. As a result, we managed to receive 90 responses for our survey. Next, I will present the findings of our research. Firstly, according to the demographic information, 75% of the respondents were female, while 86.7% are aged between 19 to 21 years old. Secondly, Figure 1 shows the opinions of UBD undergraduates regarding the importance of having a sustainable environment in Brunei. Only 38.9% of the respondents strongly agreed that environmental sustainability is the most important aspect to be addressed in Brunei. Meanwhile, 57.8% of the respondents simply agree with this statement. Following that, Figure 2 demonstrates that 51.1%, which are more than half of the respondents, share the view that there is a possibility for Brunei to face major environmental issues in the future. Meanwhile, 35.6% of the respondents implied that Brunei will encounter environmental issues. That is all from me. I will now pass the presentation to Shafika, who will be presenting the rest of the findings and the first half of our discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Amiza. As can be seen in Figure 3, even though most of the respondents with 56.6 are aware of the presence of environmental youth-led non-government organization, however, from Figure 3.2, majority of the respondents rarely and one-third responded never participated in environmental program, and only less than one-third of the respondents occasionally took part in such programs. In Figure 4, respondents were asked which approach were the most effective in fostering youth to be environmentally responsible and conscious. Majority of them, 51.1, considered introducing environmental education, and over one-third, 35.6%, chose engaging in environmental programs as the most effective method. As for figure 5, about 62.2 of the respondents believe that the prevalence of plastic issue in Brunei has been attributed to the lack of concern towards the environment. This is followed by the lack of education and awareness with 20% and inadequate government policy with 13.3%. Moving on to this discussion part, this research was conducted to examine the different perspective of UBD undergraduate on the way youth in Brunei can participate in the country effort to achieve the environment sustainable development. Contrary to expectation, this research did not find a significant difference between the past study conducted by Fien et al. In 2002. Given the data provided in Figure 3 and Figure 3.1, there still seems to be insufficient environmental participation amongst the youth despite their high environmental awareness. This may be attributed to the lack of encouragement from the government, or there may be potential barriers to participating that are yet to be identified. I will now pass the floor to Aiza, who's going to discuss the rest of the discussion and conclusion.
Thank you, Shafika. Now I will continue the discussion section first. An important issue emerging from this study is the contradictory findings of youth opinions and actions on the environment. Strong evidence of inconsistency was found, as shown in Figure 3.1, where 51.1% of the respondents claim to have never participated in volunteering, yet in Figure 3.2, 53.3% mentions that they rarely participate, despite having the options to choose never. This inconsistency may be due to the respondents not having the desire to contribute to the advancement of the study. Despite this, the findings will be great importance in the field environmental study in Brunei as it enables the government to make further improvement. As seen in Figure 4, majorities agrees that the introduction of environmental education would be the most effective way in promoting environmental consciousness. This suggests that the environmental education still has the potential to become a more relevant source for the assimilation of environmental education. Limitation of these findings may not be an accurate representation of Bruneians youth, as the scope of our research is limited to the undergraduates of University Brunei Darussalam. Therefore, it is advisable to broaden the target audience in order to receive a wider variety of responses. In conclusion, the result illustrated the indecisiveness of respondents because the inconsistency of contradictory findings and the lack of participation, despite having high awareness, prove that the degree of importance regarding environmental sustainability remains unclear. Therefore, further research is required to examine the reasons behind the ambivalent attitude of the youth. The research should be conducted in various methods to inquire more detailed findings.
Thank you. That is all from us.